Hello, my name is Juan and I'm with the Duet 3D team. You can find me in the forum under the name Sendarius. Today we are going to do a quick how-to video to walk through the installation and configuration of the RepRap Obico plugin that I've been working on. Just a quick overview, Obico is a cloud solution that is used for image processing to detect and notify you of print failures. So it's going to do that spaghetti detection, look for prints that are knocked out, got detached, um, and potentially pause the printer or notify you depending on how you have your configuration set. All of the steps that I'm going to be walking through are available on the GitHub README, um, and the link will be provided in the description. Before we start, just a quick note that this program does not require the Duet software framework to function. You do not have to be running on a Duet SBC setup. It can be installed on a standard Raspberry Pi configuration and be configured to point to a standalone RepRapFirmware printer. However, if you are connecting to a printer running the Duet software framework on an SBC, you will need to be running firmware 3.5 beta 4 or later for this to function properly. So let's go ahead and jump right into getting this set up. So here I have my Duet based printer. This is running on DSF, so this does have a SBC setup. And what we'll do is we're going to go through the README over here and go walk through the installation, and I'll help you get this all set up and running. So what we'll do is we'll jump into an SSH terminal on the Pi, and we're going to pull down the repository. So for the most part, you can copy most of these and paste it in. Since this is running on an SBC, there are a couple extra steps that we'll need to do. The install will actually not work without doing a couple extra steps. So we'll need to go through and install the virtual environment, and we'll get to an error here in a moment. All right, so you'll see virtual environment command not found. So what we'll do is go through these steps here if you do get that error message. So for the most part, you can just copy and paste these across. We're going to do the pip installation of the virtual environment so it matches the Python version on the system. All right, so now you'll see a little message here that says that it's not on the path, so we're going to go ahead and fix that. Here at the end, we'll go ahead and paste this additional line that I have here, and this will correct the path. Now, since I need to restart anyway for this path to get picked up, I am running a Raspberry Pi camera. So for that, you'll just need to go ahead and use the Raspberry config. And go ahead and enable that camera. Again, if you're not using a Raspberry Pi camera, it may just get picked up by default. And I'm going to go ahead and reboot. All right, now that the system's rebooted, we'll go ahead and do the last step here, which is reboot. And now we just need to go back and rerun the installation. So we'll go back into the RepRapFirmware Obico plugin directory and rerun that installation. Now this plugin is based off of work that Obico did for Clipper, running against Moonraker. So until Obico has finished updating, you will see Clipper UIs show up in the Obico interface. We'll be working on getting that updated soon to include Duet and RepRapFirmware markings as well to support this plugin. All right, so now that that's environment has finished setting up, we'll go through, and this is going to walk through asking for a couple of settings. If you're running on a DSF, you're just going to set it to use the local host since it's going to be connecting to RepRapFirmware that way. If you have it installed on a Raspberry Pi and you're connecting to a standalone printer, you would just go through and enter the host address here. Um, Same thing, you'll set up the port to connect to your printer. And then you can leave this log directory default. This is just going to be where it's writing logs. Okay, so Obico does provide a self-hosted solution on top of their cloud service solution. This plugin does function with both, but we will be talking about just setting up to the cloud today. You can read documentation that they have on standing up your own self-hosted server. So here it's just going to be app.obico.io. So go ahead and accept that. Now the service will get set up. And at this point, you will need to go through and get a verification code from Obico. So to do that, we'll go to their page. I have another printer set up here. And you'll hit add printer. You may get this page by default if you don't have a printer installed. For today, we will need to click on Clipper and hit next. At this point, you will get a 6-digit code, and this will probably be blurred out on the video. But you'll take that 6-digit code, copy it, go back to your terminal window, and paste that in. And then you can opt in for bug reporting if you want. That's up to you. At that point, you'll get success. Everything's configured. So let's go ahead and jump over to Obico really quick. You'll see, hey, my printer has successfully linked. So in this case, I'm going to match the name to the printer. So let's go check out the feed. So you'll see that we have no image because we actually have not set up any kind of streaming yet, but we are receiving data from the printer. So we're actually pulling in the bed heater and pulling in the hot end. So the next set of steps that we have are for installation of either Crow's Nest or Ustreamer. As of the 4.12 Duet Pi image, you are not able to install Crow's Nest, so we do have to do Ustreamer in that case. In future versions of the Duet Pi image, or if you're using a standard Raspberry Pi image with a later OS, then you can go ahead and use Crow's Nest, and it's a very simple setup. It takes care of itself with these steps here. So let's go ahead and jump back to the terminal, and let's go ahead and get Ustreamer set up. These are the steps that you'll need to make it and to set up a service to run the camera. So first things first is let's go back here. We'll clone the Ustreamer repository. We'll run these commands. This will install some libraries that are required for Ustreamer to function. It goes pretty quick. All right, at that point, we just need to do the make and install. All right, so that is all set up and is installed. So at this point, we need to create a user account and service, or in group. And now we'll go ahead and create that service. All right. And let's go ahead and enable and start it. So at that point, we may need to go ahead and restart the service, the Obico service, in order for it to pick everything up. So we'll do and at that point, we have video. So I don't have the camera mounted to the printer at the moment, but everything is fully functional, everything's streaming, and you should be good to go. At this point, everything's configured. We're good to go. Since I have the camera set up here, we can do a test run. So that file is loaded up on Obico's cloud and is actually getting uploaded to the Jubilee in this case, and it'll execute. And so there you go. So here we're seeing the live feed, and this is just a simple home test. There you go. So you'll get full spaghetti detection and everything else. All right. Thanks for your time and enjoy.